Hi, I'm Sarah. I want to tell you a story from my life. One that changed everything for me. Before I start, tell me in the comments. Have your parents ever ignored your dreams? Where are you watching from? I also want to hear your story. Now let me tell you what happened next. For as long as I can remember, my parents never really believed in my dreams. They always said I was too quiet, too shy, or not talented enough. While I was working hard to build my future, they kept putting my sister on a pedestal. She was the favorite, the one they cheered for and supported without question. When I was about to start college, I was so excited. I had saved every penny I could, and I believed my parents would help me with the rest. But then I found out something that broke my heart. The money that was meant for my college fund, was used to pay for my sister's MBA. It was a moment I will never forget. I felt invisible, like my dreams didn't matter at all. They didn't even talk to me about it. It was as if my hard work and hopes were nothing. That day I felt hurt and ignored, but I did not give up. I told myself that one day I would prove them wrong. I would make sure they saw me for who I truly am, not just as the forgotten child. I know many of you watching this might have felt the same way. Maybe your family didn't support your dreams, or you were overlooked in favor of someone else. If that's true, please share your story in the comments. Tell me where you are watching from and what you have been through. I want us to support each other because these stories matter. What happened next in my life changed everything. It was not just about the money or the betrayal anymore. It was about standing up and showing my worth. And that moment came in a way I never expected. So let me take you through my journey. You will see how the person who was ignored became the one who surprised everyone. This is my story. When I was a little girl, I always loved to learn. I remember spending hours with my nose in books, dreaming of a future where I could have a good job and live a life my parents would be proud of. School was my world. I wanted to study hard and make something of myself. But at home things were very different. My parents, instead of encouraging me, seemed to have made up their minds that my sister was the one who mattered most. My sister was always the favorite. They called her their golden child. From the moment she was born, they showered her with attention, praise, and support. Every achievement of hers was celebrated loudly, while mine seemed to go unnoticed or dismissed. If I brought home a good grade, the response was polite but small. But if my sister succeeded, the whole house lit up. It was clear to me from a young age who they really wanted to succeed. Our family wasn't rich. We faced money problems all the time. I had to work extra hard just to keep up with my studies and sometimes even helped with small jobs to add to the household income. I sacrificed so many things: fun outings, new clothes, even basic things, just so I could save for my college education. I thought my parents understood that and would help me when the time came. But deep inside, I already knew that I wasn't their favorite. The moment I found out the truth about my college fund is something I will never forget. I was talking to my mother one evening, casually asking about the money saved for my tuition. Instead of a reassuring answer, I got a cold silence. After pressing more, I learned that my parents had used that money to pay for my sister's MBA. I couldn't believe it. The fund that was supposed to help me start my life was gone, spent on someone else. I felt confused, betrayed, and deeply hurt. How could they do this without even telling me? Why did they think my dreams were less important? For days I didn't know what to say. I felt like I was carrying a heavy weight inside me. I wanted to scream, to cry, to ask them why, but I stayed silent. I wasn't sure if they even cared about how much this hurt me. It felt like my dreams didn't matter at all. All my hard work, all my sacrifices, they were ignored. My sister's success was all that mattered to them. I was left in the shadows, invisible in my own family. Even though I was hurt, I made a silent promise to myself. I would not let this betrayal stop me. I would find a way to succeed on my own, to make my family see that I was worth just as much as my sister, maybe even more. But for now, I had to keep going, holding my pain inside and trying to figure out how to build my future without their support. This was the reality I lived in for years. A reality where my parents' love and support seemed reserved for someone else. But little did I know the story was about to change in ways I never expected. After I found out that my parents had taken my college fund for my sister's MBA, I realized I couldn't count on them to support my dreams. I was on my own. The world suddenly felt much bigger and scarier. But I knew I had to keep moving forward. Giving up was never an option for me. I took any job I could find. At first it was small, low-paying work. Waiting tables, cleaning offices, doing errands. The money was barely enough to cover my basic needs, let alone pay for college or anything else. Some days were so hard that I wondered if all this struggle was worth it. But deep inside I had a fire burning. I refused to let my family's lack of belief define me. While working those jobs, I saved every penny I could. I took night classes and enrolled in community college. I didn't have the luxury of internships with big companies or fancy schools like my sister. Instead, I looked for any chance to learn and grow. I taught myself new skills, computer programs, marketing basics, anything that could help me get ahead. I asked questions, stayed late, and never missed an opportunity to improve. Every small milestone felt like a victory. When I finally got accepted to a 4-year college, it felt like a dream come true. I balanced studying with work, often sacrificing sleep and social life. I was tired, stressed, and sometimes lonely, but I never stopped pushing forward. The discouragement from my family still lingered like a shadow. They rarely asked how I was doing or celebrated my progress. Instead, they talked proudly about my sister, her new job, her achievements, the nice car she drove. That contrast was hard to swallow. My sister's path was paved with ease and support. She never had to worry about money or where her next opportunity would come from. Our parents cheered her on loudly and often, while I quietly struggled behind the scenes. It stung, but it also fueled me. Every time they praised her, I felt a quiet promise grow stronger inside me, a vow to prove my worth not to them but to myself. I wanted to show that hard work and determination could beat privilege. That being overlooked didn't mean I was less capable. I worked late nights, took extra classes, and kept building my skills. Sometimes I felt exhausted and worn down, but giving up was never a choice. I believed that someday all this effort would pay off. Despite the challenges, I started to see small successes. I landed internships that helped me gain real experience. I made connections with people who believed in me. I earned respect from teachers and colleagues who saw my dedication. These moments kept me going, reminding me that I was on the right path. Looking back, I realize how much those struggles shaped me. They gave me strength, resilience, and a drive that no one could take away. And even though my parents never showed it, I knew deep down that I had something they didn't: the will to fight for my dreams no matter what. That early adulthood was tough, but it set the stage for what was coming next. The moment when my hard work would finally turn the tables and change everything. For me and for the people who once doubted me. After years of hard work and endless struggles, I finally landed a job at a growing company. It wasn't a huge corporation, but it was a place full of potential, and I saw it as my chance to prove myself. From day one, I poured everything I had into this job. I stayed late, took on extra tasks, and never complained. Slowly but surely, people started to notice. My boss appreciated my honesty and dedication. My co-workers respected me for always doing the right thing, even when it wasn't easy. I didn't expect things to move so fast, but they did. I climbed the ranks quicker than I ever imagined. With every promotion, I felt a quiet satisfaction that came not just from the title, but from knowing I had earned it through my own sweat and tears. This company became my second home, the place where I finally felt valued for who I was, not just someone living in my sister's shadow. One ordinary afternoon, I received some news that shook me to my core. Someone mentioned that my sister had also applied for a position at the same company. At first, I thought it must be a mistake. Why would she want to work here? She always had everything handed to her. Why start at the bottom like me? I felt a rush of mixed emotions: shock, anger, confusion. I wondered if she even knew about my role here. Probably not. My sister had always lived in a bubble of privilege and approval from our parents. I wasn't sure if she understood what it took to get to where I was now. As the interview day for her approached, I found myself caught between a whirlwind of feelings. On one hand, I wanted to keep things professional. But on the other hand, a part of me craved a chance to reveal the truth, to show my parents and my sister what I had achieved and maybe shake them a little. I spent days preparing myself mentally. I thought about how I could handle the situation with strength and dignity. I didn't want to just embarrass anyone. I wanted to make a statement, subtle but powerful. Something that would make them see me for who I really was. Not just the forgotten daughter, but the woman who had fought hard to rise above everything. I planned carefully. During her interview, I decided I would have a presentation ready. Something that showed my work, my projects, and my results. I wanted to display the difference between someone who had earned her place and someone who had just walked in expecting everything. I knew it was a risk. I wasn't sure how my sister would react, or how my parents would feel when they saw that I was the one holding the real power in the company now. But I wasn't afraid. This was my moment. After all the pain, the silence, and the neglect, I had finally built something real. And now I was ready to use it, not to hurt but to finally get the respect I deserved. The day of the interview arrived faster than I expected. I felt a strange mix of nerves and calm. I knew whatever happened, I had already won in my own way. My journey was far from over, but this was a turning point. The truth was about to come out and nothing would ever be the same again. The day my sister came for her interview felt heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. I woke up that morning feeling a mix of nerves and a strange calm. Deep down, I knew this moment was bigger than just a job interview. It was the chance to finally face my past and show the truth. As I got ready, I told myself to stay strong and focused. This was my moment. When the receptionist called me and said she was here, my heart skipped a beat. I took a deep breath and walked to the lobby to meet her. She looked just the same as always, smiling, confident, and completely unaware that I was the one she was about to meet as the interviewer. My sister had always been the favorite, the golden child who walked on easy paths. Today she didn't know she was stepping into a place where the truth would come out. I greeted her politely and showed her to the conference room. My voice was calm, steady. Inside I was fighting back the flood of emotions, anger, hurt, but also determination. I knew I had to keep control, to hold my ground without letting my feelings take over. As we sat down, I began the interview with simple questions. She answered confidently, as if this was just another day where she expected praise. I watched her carefully, noticing the little signs of pride and ease. She did not know who I was really, and I wanted her to be comfortable before I hit her with the truth. I needed to plan my words carefully. After a few minutes, I said, "Now, I would like you to present a project you prepared for this interview." She nodded and opened her laptop. The room felt tense, but she didn't realize the storm about to hit. I switched on the projector and connected it to my computer. The room darkened slightly as the light from the screen filled the space. Then the first slide appeared, a collection of financial papers. These were not just ordinary files. These were the proof of years of betrayal. The bank statements, documents, and receipts that showed how our parents had taken my college fund and used it for her MBA instead. The money meant for me was quietly stolen. I saw her smile fade instantly. Her confident face froze as the truth hit her hard. The documents made it clear. My dreams were robbed to pay for her education. It was a moment of shock and silence. My parents, who had come with her, proud and ready to watch their favorite daughter succeed, were stunned. Their eyes widened as the cold facts appeared on the screen. They looked at each other but could not speak. The quiet in the room grew thick like a heavy fog. I took a deep breath, fighting the tears that threatened to fall. I looked directly at my sister and then at my parents. For years I sat quietly while my dreams were mocked and ignored. I began, my voice steady but full of feeling. "The money that should have supported my college was taken and used to pay for your MBA." I saw confusion flash in my sister's eyes, mixed with guilt and something like regret. She had been the golden child, but now the spotlight was on me. I wasn't there to destroy her, but to show what had been hidden all along. I continued. I stayed silent, hoping things would be fair one day. But silence only made the pain worse. My dreams were pushed aside. I was told I was not good enough. But today I stand here not as a forgotten daughter, but as the person this company trusts to lead. I felt my voice grow stronger. This is not just about money. It's about respect. It's about all the times I was told my dreams didn't matter. It's about the hard work I did alone, the fights I fought without support. Today I have my voice. And this company is proof that I earned my place with honesty and strength. The room was silent except for the soft humming of the projector. My parents looked down, unable to meet my eyes. My sister's proud posture collapsed. She looked away, ashamed. But I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. "I do not hold anger," I said softly. "I only hope you can finally see me for who I am. Not the quiet girl you ignored, but someone who never gave up." At that moment something shifted. Years of pain and silence melted into a quiet power inside me. My sister looked at me, her eyes full of tears. My parents looked broken. The truth had come out and there was no going back. After the meeting, as she left the room, my sister stopped and turned back to me. "I never knew," she whispered. "I'm sorry." I nodded, holding my head high. That day was more than an interview. It was the moment I reclaimed my life and my dreams. It was the day my past finally met my future, and I was ready. The day after that intense interview, everything felt strange. I wasn't sure what to expect when I got home. Would my parents finally say something? Would they apologize for what they did? Or would they just deny everything, pretending none of it ever happened? The silence at home was heavy. I sat quietly in the living room, heart beating fast, waiting for some kind of reaction from them. At first there was nothing. My parents didn't speak to me. They avoided eye contact as if I had become a stranger in their house. My mother looked tired, her eyes red like she had been crying, but she didn't say a word. My father's face was tight, like he was holding back words he didn't want to say. My sister sat quietly, her head down, clearly feeling the weight of what had happened. I could tell the truth hit all of us hard. Finally, after a long pause, my mother broke the silence. Her voice was soft and shaky. "We never meant to hurt you," she said. "We thought we were doing what was best for the family." It sounded like an excuse, but I could hear the pain in her words. She sounded sad, like she wished things had been different. My father stayed quiet but didn't look away anymore. There was guilt in his eyes, even if he didn't say it out loud. My sister slowly looked up and came closer to me. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. I wish things were different between us." Her apology was small, but it was the first time I felt like they really saw me, not just as the forgotten daughter but as a person with real feelings and dreams. Even though it was hard, that moment felt like a new beginning. The walls of silence and ignoring each other started to crack. I could feel a small hope growing inside me. Maybe things could change, maybe we could start again. In the weeks after the interview, I put my heart and soul into my new job. It was not easy at all. I had to prove myself every day, not just to my family but to my coworkers, bosses, and everyone around me. But I was ready. Every hard moment I had faced before, every late night, every struggle without family support had prepared me for this. Slowly, people began to respect me for who I really was. Someone honest, hardworking, and strong. I wasn't just my parents' daughter anymore. I wasn't just the sister who was ignored or left behind. I was a leader in my company, someone with a voice that mattered. And that gave me a confidence I never had before. Now, if you are listening to my story, I want you to remember something important. No matter how much you feel ignored, hurt, or betrayed by the people you love, never stop believing in yourself. Sometimes the people who should support us the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. That can feel like the worst kind of pain. But your pain does not have to define you. Your dreams belong to you and you alone. No one can take that away unless you let them. Keep holding on to what makes you happy. Keep fighting for your goals even when everything seems against you. Your worth is not decided by others. It is something inside you that is strong and powerful. If you are going through something similar right now, please know you are not alone. Your pain is real. Your story matters. And your dreams are worth chasing. Even when people doubt you or ignore you, keep moving forward. Life can surprise you in ways you never expect. I also want to invite you to share your story in the comments below. Let's make this a place where we support each other, where we listen and lift each other up. When we share our struggles and victories, we help someone else who might be feeling lost or broken. Your voice can give hope to someone else who needs it. Remember, sometimes the hardest battles lead to the greatest victories. I never thought I would be where I am today. I never thought my voice would be heard or that I would have respect in my family and at work. But here I am, proof that no matter how hard the past is, the future can still be bright. You just have to keep going. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it gives you hope and courage to face your own challenges. Keep believing in yourself, keep fighting for your dreams, and never forget, you are worth so much more than anyone's doubt or betrayal.